In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, towering war machines stride across battlefields, their thunderous footsteps heralding doom for their enemies. These are the Chaos Knights, corrupted nobles piloting twisted versions of the Imperium's greatest weapons. Once proud defenders of humanity, they now serve the ruinous powers of chaos, bringing devastation wherever they tread. Chaos Knights embody the fall from grace that echoes throughout the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Their very existence serves as a chilling reminder of how even the mightiest can be corrupted. These perverse war engines combine technological might with demonic influence, creating a force that strikes terror into the hearts of their foes. Imagine a Night Titan standing as tall as a cathedral spire, its armor adorned with horrific trophies and unholy sigils. The pilot within, fused to their throne by dark rituals, guides this behemoth with a mixture of skill and madness. Each step crushes tanks beneath its feet, while its weapons unleash destruction on a scale that can reshape entire battlefields. The story of the Chaos Knights is one of betrayal, power, and the insidious nature of chaos itself. It's a tale that spans millennia, from the dark days of the Horus Heresy to the brutal conflicts of the 41st millennium. Their legacy is written in the ashes of burned worlds and the screams of countless victims. As we delve deeper into the lore of these fallen nobles, we'll uncover the tragic circumstances that led to their corruption. We'll explore the unholy pacts they've made with demonic entities and the terrible price they've paid for power. The Chaos Knights serve as a dark mirror to the Imperial Knights, showing what happens when duty and honor are abandoned in pursuit of personal glory. Prepare to enter a world where loyalty is tested, where the line between man and machine blurs, and where the corrupting touch of chaos transforms the galaxy's greatest defenders into its most feared destroyers. This is the realm of the Chaos Knights, and their story is one of epic proportions, filled with betrayal, horror, and unrelenting warfare. The galaxy of Warhammer 40,000 teeters on the brink of annihilation, locked in an eternal struggle between order and chaos. Amidst this cosmic battleground, Chaos Knights emerge as a pivotal force, their very existence challenging the Imperium's dominance and reshaping the balance of power across countless worlds. To comprehend the significance of these fallen warriors, one must first grasp the intricate tapestry of the 41st millennium. Humanity's realm, the Imperium of Man, spans millions of planets, its borders constantly threatened by Xenos invaders, heretical uprisings, and the insidious touch of chaos. For 10,000 years, the Emperor of Mankind has sat immobile on the Golden Throne, his psychic might the only beacon guiding humanity through the darkness of space. In this harsh reality, technology is revered as sacred, its inner workings understood by few. The Adeptus Mechanicus, keepers of humanity's technological knowledge, guard their secrets zealously. Among their most prized creations are the Night Suits, towering war machines piloted by noble houses pledged to the Emperor's service. These night houses trace their lineage back to the dark age of technology, when humanity first spread across the stars. Settled on distant worlds, they maintained their combat readiness through generations, awaiting the day the greater Imperium would rediscover them. Their traditions, steeped in chivalric codes and feudal hierarchies, set them apart from the common citizenry. The corrupted versions of these mighty warriors, the Chaos Knights, represent a perversion of everything the Imperium holds sacred. Their fall exemplifies the constant threat of corruption that plagues even the most stalwart defenders of humanity. In a universe where faith is armor and doubt is a fatal weakness, the betrayal of these once loyal servants sends ripples of fear through Imperial ranks. Chaos, the great enemy of order, manifests as a corrupting force stemming from the warp, a dimension of pure psychic energy where the laws of physics hold no sway. 4 major chaos gods, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh, vie for supremacy, their eternal conflict spilling into real space and twisting the minds and bodies of mortals. The Horus Heresy, A galactic civil war that nearly toppled the Imperium 10 millennia ago serves as a grim reminder of Chaos's power to corrupt. Half of the Emperor's genetically enhanced Space Marine legions turned traitor, led by the War Master Horus. This cataclysmic event set the stage for the galaxy's current state of perpetual warfare. In the aftermath of the heresy, the Imperium implemented sweeping changes to prevent such catastrophic betrayals. The Space Marine legions were broken into smaller chapters. Imperial governance became increasingly paranoid and oppressive, and the Inquisition was formed to root out heresy wherever it might lurk. Despite these measures, the lure of chaos remains a constant threat. Power, immortality, and the fulfillment of dark desires tempt even the most steadfast servants of the Emperor. The fall of Night Houses to chaos represents not just a military loss, but a moral failure that shakes the very foundations of Imperial doctrine. The Chaos Knight's betrayal carries extra weight due to the unique position Night Houses hold within the Imperium's power structure. Neither fully part of the Adeptus Mechanicus nor completely independent, these noble houses maintain a degree of autonomy rare in the oppressive regime of the 41st millennium. Their fall highlights the vulnerabilities in this system of divided loyalty. Moreover, the technological marvel that is a Knight suit becomes a terrifying prospect when turned against its creators. Each Knight is a repository of ancient technology, its systems a mystery to all but the most learned tech priests. In the hands of chaos, these war machines become conduits for warp energies, their machine spirits corrupted and their weapons imbued with unholy power. The existence of Chaos Knights forces the Imperium to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of free will and loyalty. In a society built on unquestioning obedience, the idea that its mightiest warriors could choose to turn their backs on the Emperor sows seeds of doubt that could potentially blossom into full-blown heresy. This context of betrayal, technological perversion, and the ever-present threat of chaos paints the Chaos Knights as more than just powerful enemies. They are living, or perhaps unliving, symbols of the Imperium's failings, dark reflections of its greatest champions. Their thunderous advance across battlefields serves as a constant reminder that no one, no matter how noble or powerful, is beyond the reach of chaos. As we delve deeper into the lore of the Chaos Knights, we'll explore how these fallen nobles impact the intricate power dynamics of the 41st millennium, forever changing the face of warfare in a galaxy already scarred by millennia of conflict. The origins of Chaos Knights trace back to humanity's tumultuous past, intertwined with the rise and fall of ancient empires. During the Dark Age of technology, mankind spread across the stars, establishing colonies on distant worlds. To protect these fledgling settlements, colossal war machines known as Knights were deployed, piloted by noble houses sworn to safeguard humanity's expansion. These Knight houses developed unique cultures, blending feudal traditions with advanced technology. Their suits of armor, towering mechs of unparalleled destructive capability, became symbols of power and prestige. Passed down through generations, the art of piloting a Knight became a sacred duty, with each noble heir undertaking rigorous training and ritual to prove their worth. As the age of strife descended upon the galaxy, many Knight worlds found themselves isolated, cut off from Terra by warp storms that made interstellar travel nearly impossible. In this period of darkness, the houses clung to their traditions, becoming the sole protectors of human civilization on their respective planets. Their tenacity and martial prowess ensured the survival of countless communities in an era marked by aliens' invasions and the collapse of galactic infrastructure. When the Emperor of Mankind launched the Great Crusade to reunite humanity, the Knight Houses were rediscovered. Many pledged their allegiance to the nascent Imperium, seeing in the Emperor's vision a reflection of their own dedication to human prosperity. These loyalist knights fought alongside the Space Marine legions, their might turning the tide in numerous campaigns. However, not all houses embraced the imperial truth. Some, fiercely independent after millennia of self-reliance, resisted integration into the Imperium. Others harbored doubts about the Emperor's goals, their isolation having bred divergent beliefs and practices. These seeds of discord would later bloom into full-blown rebellion during the catastrophic events of the Horus Heresy. The heresy marked a turning point for the Night Houses. As the War Master Horus turned against the Emperor, the galaxy erupted into civil war. Night fought against night as houses chose sides in the conflict. The betrayal cut deep, sundering bonds of brotherhood and tearing apart alliances forged over centuries. In the crucible of this galactic civil war, the first Chaos Knights emerged. Some houses willingly embraced the dark powers offered by the ruinous powers, seduced by promises of even greater strength and autonomy. Others fell unwittingly, their nobles' minds corrupted by exposure to warp energies or the insidious whispers of chaos agents. The process of corruption varied from house to house. Some underwent gradual changes, their heraldry and traditions slowly warping to reflect their new allegiances. Others experienced sudden, violent transformations, their entire world swallowed by warp storms and remade in the image of their new demonic patrons. Central to a knight's fall is the corruption of its throne mechanicum, the neural interface that links pilot to machine. This ancient technology, designed to impart the wisdom and experience of previous generations, became a conduit for chaos energies. The whispers of long-dead ancestors turned to screams of madness, driving pilots to commit unspeakable acts in the name of their new gods. As the heresy raged on, these corrupted knights proved to be formidable foes. Their already impressive war machines, further augmented by the reality-warping powers of the warp, wreaked havoc on loyalist forces. Imperial armies found themselves facing nightmarish versions of their most potent weapons, twisted mockeries of the noble warriors they once fought alongside. In the aftermath of the heresy, as the Imperium struggled to rebuild, many Chaos Knights retreated to the Eye of Terror, a massive warp rift where reality and the immaterium bleed together. There, they continued to hone their skills and further corrupt their war machines, emerging periodically to raid Imperial worlds and sow destruction. Over the millennia, the ranks of the Chaos Knights swelled. Some came from houses that fell during the heresy, their corruption only now coming to light. Others were newly turned, seduced by dark emissaries or driven to betrayal by the Imperium's own oppressive policies. Each new addition to their ranks represented a significant blow to Imperial morale and military strength. The Quaestor Traitoris, as these fallen knights came to be known, developed their own dark traditions and hierarchies. Infernal houses arose, mockeries of their loyalist counterparts, each dedicated to one of the Chaos Gods or to Chaos Undivided. These houses waged war not just against the Imperium, but against each other, vying for the favor of their dark patrons in an endless cycle of violence and betrayal. Despite the efforts of the Inquisition and other imperial organizations to prevent further defections, the threat of corruption remained ever present. The very qualities that made night pilots exceptional, their individualism, pride, and martial spirit, also made them susceptible to the temptations of chaos. Each new betrayal served as a grim reminder of the fragility of loyalty in a galaxy beset by cosmic horrors. As the 41st Millennium dawned, Chaos Knights had become a terrifying and established force in the galaxy. Their mere presence on a battlefield was enough to shake the resolve of even the most stalwart Imperial defenders. Yet, for all their power, they remained tragic figures, noble warriors twisted by forces beyond their comprehension, forever bound to the whims of capricious gods. The story of the Chaos Knights serves as a cautionary tale within the Imperium, a stark reminder of the consequences of hubris and the ever-present threat of corruption. It is a narrative woven into the very fabric of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, embodying the grim darkness of a future where there is only war and the laughter of thirsting gods. The fall of Molech marked a pivotal moment in the emergence of Chaos Knights. This prosperous night world, once a jewel in the Imperium's crown, succumbed to the corrupting influence of Horus during the early stages of his rebellion. House Divine, seduced by promises of power, turned against their allies in a shocking betrayal. Their actions not only crippled the planet's defenses, but also provided Horus with a template for corrupting other night houses. Simultaneously, on the Forge world of Jau Arkad, dark rituals conducted by the War Master's agents unleashed warp energies that corrupted the planet's night suits en masse. The madness that ensued saw night turn against night, brother against brother, in a nightmarish civil war. Those who emerged victorious from this crucible of chaos became the first of the dreaded infernal houses. The Siege of Terra, the Horus Heresy's climax, witnessed Chaos Knights in all their terrible glory. These towering behemoths, their armor adorned with unholy sigils, laid waste to the Emperor's palace alongside traitor titans. Their presence demoralized defenders and inspired dread even among the stalwart space marines. Although the siege ultimately failed, the actions of these fallen nobles left an indelible mark on Imperial history. In the aftermath of the heresy, many corrupted knights retreated to the Eye of Terror. The Battle of Daravar saw an entire Chaos Knight household emerge from the warp to lay claim to this mineral-rich world. Imperial forces, caught off guard by the sudden assault, were systematically annihilated. This event highlighted the ongoing threat posed by these unpredictable and powerful enemies. The 13th Black Crusade brought Chaos Knights back to the forefront of galactic conflict. As Abaddon, the Despoiler's forces poured from the Eye of Terror, corrupted night suits marched alongside, their thunderous steps heralding doom for countless worlds. The fall of Cadia, a linchpin in Imperial defenses, was due in no small part to the devastating assaults of these towering war machines. On Telthos Prime, a lone Imperial Knight of House Krast faced off against 3 Chaos Knights in a battle that would become legend. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the loyal knight, through skill and unwavering faith, managed to defeat its corrupted brethren. This event inspired renewed resistance against Chaos incursions and demonstrated that even these fearsome enemies could be overcome. The Indomitus Crusade, launched in the wake of the Cicatrix Maledictum's formation, saw numerous clashes with Chaos Knights. On the hive world of Nephthys, a lance of Questoris Tritoris laid waste to entire hive spires before being halted by a combined force of Adeptus Astartes and Loyalist Knights. The battle lasted weeks, reducing much of the planet to rubble, but ultimately proved the resilience of Imperial forces in the face of overwhelming odds. In the Nachmund Gauntlet, a vital warp corridor, Chaos Knights played a crucial role in disrupting Imperial supply lines. House Lucaris, once loyal servants of the Emperor, revealed their true colors in a surprise attack on an Imperial convoy. This betrayal not only secured vital resources for Chaos forces, but also sowed seeds of doubt and paranoia among other night houses operating in the region. The War of Beasts on Vigilus saw Chaos Knights deployed in unprecedented numbers. These corrupted war engines, led by the infamous Desolator Titan Void Cleaver, spearheaded assaults on key Imperial strongholds. Their presence forced defensive strategies to be entirely rewritten, as conventional tactics proved ineffective against such massive and tainted foes. On the Forge world of Metallica, an insidious plot by Dark Mechanicum agents nearly led to the mass corruption of the planet's night suits. Only the timely intervention of inquisitorial forces prevented a catastrophe that would have seen one of the Imperium's most important manufacturing centers fall to chaos. This close call led to increased scrutiny and security measures in night production facilities across the galaxy. The Plague Wars in the Ultramar system witnessed the debut of Chaos Knights aligned with Nurgle. These lumbering monstrosities, their armor corroded and leaking noxious fluids, proved incredibly resilient to conventional weapons. Their ability to spread contagion across vast swaths of battlefield made them particularly feared, even among other Chaos forces. In the Psychic Awakening, as latent Psychers manifested in increasing numbers across the galaxy, several night households experienced mass defections. The world of Daravar 7 saw its entire population of knights fall to chaos overnight, their thrones mechanicum overwhelmed by sudden psychic surges. This event highlighted the vulnerability of even the most loyal servants to the insidious touch of the warp. The devastating raid on the shrine world of San Lior showcased the terrifying efficiency of Chaos Knights in hit-and-run tactics. A lance of Questoris Traitoris, appearing suddenly from a warp rift, desecrated the planet's most holy sites and vanished before a proper defense could be mounted. This attack not only dealt a blow to Imperial morale, but also highlighted the unpredictable nature of Chaos Knight incursions. In the Pariah Nexus, where the influence of the warp was suppressed by Necron technology, Chaos Knights found themselves cut off from their demonic benefactors. The Battle of Silent Tomb saw these usually invincible war machines rendered vulnerable, leading to a rare victory for Imperial forces against overwhelming odds. This event provided valuable insights into potential weaknesses of Chaos Knights, spurring new research into anti-warp weaponry. The Sanguine Crusade marked a turning point in the Imperium's fight against Chaos Knights. This campaign, led by a coalition of loyalist knight houses, specifically targeted known Chaos Knight strongholds. While casualties were high, the Crusade succeeded in destroying several infernal houses and reclaiming crucial manufacturing facilities. As the 42nd Millennium dawns, Chaos Knights continue to play a pivotal role in the ongoing conflicts that engulf the galaxy. Their actions, whether in service to specific Chaos gods or in pursuit of their own dark agendas, shape the course of battles and the fates of entire worlds. Each encounter with these fallen nobles serves as a grim reminder of the ever-present threat of corruption and the high cost of maintaining the Emperor's realm in the face of unrelenting darkness. Beneath the corrupted armor and tainted machine spirits of chaos, Knights lies a complex interplay of technology, psychology, and cosmic forces. These fallen nobles embody the grimdark essence of Warhammer 40,000, serving as a stark reminder of how even the mightiest can fall to the insidious touch of chaos. At the core of every Chaos Knight is the corrupted Throne Mechanicum, a perversion of the neural interface that once linked noble houses to their war machines across generations. This sacred technology, designed to impart wisdom and skill, becomes a conduit for madness and demonic influence. The whispers of ancestors turn to screams of the damned, driving pilots to commit unspeakable acts in the name of dark gods. The corruption process varies wildly between individuals and houses. Some knights succumb slowly, their valor and honor eroding over years until they barely resemble their former selves. Others experience sudden, violent transformations, their entire beings reshaped in cataclysmic rituals. This unpredictability makes Chaos Knights a particularly insidious threat, as even the most stalwart defender might harbor the seeds of betrayal. Psychologically, Chaos Knights often retain twisted versions of their former personalities. The code of chivalry that once guided their actions becomes a dark parody, with concepts like honor and duty perverted to serve the whims of chaos. This warped nobility makes them all the more dangerous as they approach warfare with a calculated brutality that belies their monstrous appearance. The physical changes wrought by chaos on knight suits are as varied as they are horrifying. Armor plates meld with flesh, weapons become living appendages, and reactor cores pulse with barely contained warp energy. These alterations not only enhance the knight's combat capabilities, but also serve as grotesque tributes to their new patrons. Each Chaos Knight becomes a unique abomination, a walking testament to the infinite mutations of the warp. Tactically, Chaos Knights present a nightmare for Imperial commanders. Their unpredictable nature and enhanced capabilities make traditional anti-Titan tactics less effective. The psychological impact of facing these corrupted war machines cannot be overstated, often causing even veteran troops to flee in terror. This demoralizing effect is further amplified by the knowledge that these monstrosities were once humanity's protectors. The relationship between Chaos Knights and their demonic patrons is complex and often parasitic. While the Dark Gods bestow tremendous power upon their champions, they also demand constant tribute in the form of slaughter and destruction. This endless cycle of violence serves to further corrupt the Knights, driving them to ever greater acts of cruelty to appease their insatiable masters. Interestingly, some Chaos Knights maintain a degree of independence, refusing to fully pledge themselves to any single deity. These renegade knights often pursue their own agendas, selling their services to the highest bidder or carving out small empires in the lawless regions of space. Their relative autonomy makes them unpredictable allies and formidable enemies, respected and feared even among other Chaos forces. The existence of Chaos Knights poses philosophical questions about the nature of free will and corruption in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Are these fallen nobles victims of forces beyond their control, or did they willingly embrace damnation? The answer likely varies from case to case, adding layers of tragedy to their narratives. This moral ambiguity challenges the Imperium's black and white view of heresy, suggesting that the line between loyalty and betrayal is often blurrier than official doctrine would admit. Technologically, Chaos Knights represent a dark mirror to the Imperium's reliance on ancient and poorly understood machinery. The corruption of their systems highlights the dangers inherent in humanity's reverence for technology it can no longer fully comprehend. This theme resonates throughout the Warhammer 40,000 setting, where technological stagnation and superstition have replaced scientific progress. The presence of Chaos Knights on the battlefield often forces significant tactical adaptations from their opponents. Imperial forces must develop new strategies to counter these behemoths, leading to advancements in anti-Titan weaponry and tactics. This arms race drives technological development on both sides, with each new innovation in defense spurring new mutations and enhancements among the ranks of Chaos. From a narrative perspective, Chaos Knights serve as powerful antagonists, their fall from grace embodying the tragic themes of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Their stories of betrayal and corruption add depth to the setting, illustrating how even the noblest intentions can be twisted by the insidious influence of chaos. This makes them compelling villains, often with complex motivations that go beyond simple destruction. The internal hierarchies and politics of Chaos Knight houses offer a dark reflection of their loyalist counterparts. Infernal houses engage in power struggles and alliances that mimic feudal systems, but with the added brutality and backstabbing typical of Chaos. These internal conflicts add another layer of unpredictability to their actions, as house rivalries can sometimes take precedence over larger strategic goals. Symbolically, Chaos Knights represent the corruption of nobility and the perversion of duty. Their fall serves as a cautionary tale within the Imperium, used to reinforce the importance of unwavering faith and vigilance against the temptations of chaos. This narrative plays into the Imperium's paranoia and helps justify its oppressive policies, as the threat of corruption is ever present. The visual design of Chaos Knights is a masterclass in aesthetic horror. Their appearance combines elements of Gothic architecture, biomechanical horror, and eldritch symbolism to create war machines that are as terrifying to behold as they are to face in battle. This design philosophy extends beyond mere aesthetics, with each visual element serving to reinforce the themes of corruption and fallen nobility. Foremost among their adversaries stands the Imperium of Man, the very realm they once swore to protect. Imperial Knights, steadfast in their loyalty, view their corrupted brethren as the ultimate betrayal of their sacred oaths. Battles between loyal and traitor knights often take on a personal dimension, with old grudges and familial conflicts playing out on a monumental scale. The Adeptus Mechanicus, guardians of humanity's technological knowledge, see Chaos Knights as abominations that must be purged, their corrupted machine spirits an affront to the Omnissiah. Within the ranks of Chaos itself, allegiances shift like quicksand. Knights sworn to Khorne, the blood god, revel in wholesale slaughter, their war machines modified for maximum carnage. These berserkers often clash with the followers of Tzeentch, whose knights employ cunning and sorcery to achieve victory. Nurgle's plague-ridden behemoths spread contagion across battlefields, while Slaaneshi knights pursue perfection in combat, their pilots experiencing ecstatic pleasure with each kill. Renegade Knights, those who refuse to fully commit to any Chaos God, form a distinct faction. These independent operators often sell their services to the highest bidder, their motivations ranging from a twisted sense of honor to pure self-interest. Their unpredictability makes them valuable, if unreliable, allies to various Chaos warbands, and even, on rare occasions, Xenos factions seeking to exploit their power. The Eldari, ancient enemies of Chaos, view Chaos Knights with a mixture of disdain and grim fascination. Craftworld war hosts employ hit-and-run tactics against these lumbering giants, while Drukhari raiders see them as prize trophies to be captured and broken in their gladiatorial arenas. Harlequin troops, with their reality-bending technology, often prove surprisingly effective against Chaos Knights, turning the corrupted war machine's size and power against them. Orc-Wachs relish the challenge presented by Chaos Knights, seeing them as worthy opponents for their own colossal war machines. Orc mechs obsess over salvaged knight parts, incorporating them into their own twisted creations. The sight of an orc-piloted Chaos Knight, its corrupted systems further enhanced by ramshackle orky upgrades, is a nightmare that has been witnessed on more than one battlefield. Tyrannid hive fleets adapt rapidly to the threat posed by Chaos Knights, developing specialized bioforms to counter their strengths. Massive synapse creatures coordinate swarms of smaller organisms to overwhelm and bring down these towering enemies, their caustic blood and adaptive physiologies proving effective against warp-tainted armor. Necron dynasties, awakening to a galaxy much changed, find in Chaos Knights a threat that must be calculated for. Gauss weapons and advanced Necron technology often prove devastatingly effective against these corrupted war engines, leading some overlords to prioritize their destruction as a means of destabilizing enemy forces. The Tau Empire, with its limited understanding of chaos, initially struggled against Chaos Knights. However, their rapid technological advancement and adaptability have led to the development of new battlesuits and weapons specifically designed to counter these threats. Tau commanders view the defeating of a Chaos Knight as a significant propaganda victory, proof of the greater good's superiority over the madness of chaos. Inquisitorial forces take a particular interest in Chaos Knight activities, seeing in them not just a military threat, but a spiritual one as well. Ordo Hereticus agents work tirelessly to uncover potential corruption within loyal knight houses, while Ordo Malleus specialists develop tactics and weapons to banish these demonic war machines back to the warp. The Grey Knights, the Imperium's secret weapon against demonic incursions, often find themselves deployed against particularly powerful or influential Chaos Knights. Their psychic abilities and specialized war gear make them uniquely suited to combating these warp-tainted threats, though the cost in lives and resources is often staggering. Adeptus Astartes chapters, especially those with close ties to Night Worlds, take the threat of Chaos Knights personally. Many chapters maintain specialized anti-Knight tactics and equipment, with some even fielding their own Knight detachments as a counter. The Dark Angels, in particular, hunt fallen Knights with a fervor that borders on obsession, seeing in them echoes of their own tragic past. Within the ranks of Chaos Knights themselves, internal conflicts are common. Different infernal houses vie for supremacy, their battles as much about ideology and favor with the Dark Gods as they are about territory or resources. These internal struggles can sometimes work to the advantage of their enemies, as Chaos Knights turn on each other in pursuit of personal glory or demonic blessings. The Adeptus Sororitas, with their unshakable faith in the Emperor, often find themselves on the front lines against Chaos Knight incursions. Their acts of martyrdom and miraculous interventions serve as a potent counter to the psychological impact of facing these demonic war machines, rallying Imperial forces in even the darkest hours. Rogue traders operating on the fringes of Imperial space sometimes find themselves brokering deals with or defending against Chaos Knights. These encounters often lead to unique alliances or conflicts, with the Knight's power serving as both a valuable asset and a dangerous liability in the complex political landscape of the galactic frontier. As the lines between ally and enemy blur in the face of galaxy-wide threats, even Chaos Knights sometimes find themselves fighting alongside unlikely allies. Reports of Chaos and Imperial Knights standing together against Tyranid hive fleets or Necron invasions, while rare, highlight the complex and ever-shifting nature of warfare in the 41st millennium. In this tapestry of conflict, Chaos Knights serve as both catalyst and consequence, their very existence a testament to the corrupting influence of chaos and the never-ending war that consumes the galaxy. Each faction's approach to dealing with these fallen nobles reflects their own strengths, weaknesses, and philosophies, adding depth and complexity to the rich lore of Warhammer. The emergence of Chaos Knights as a dominant force reached its zenith during the cataclysmic events of the 13th Black Crusade. As Abaddon the Despoiler's forces poured from the Eye of Terror, legions of corrupted war machines marched alongside, their thunderous steps heralding doom for countless worlds. The fall of Cadia, a linchpin in Imperial defenses, owed much to the devastating assaults of these towering behemoths. In the wake of Cadia's destruction, the Great Rift tore reality asunder, bisecting the galaxy with a writhing tear in the fabric of space-time. This cosmic wound, known as the Cicatrix Maledictum, ushered in a new era of warp storms and demonic incursions. Chaos Knights, their unholy powers amplified by the Rift's energies, seized this opportunity to extend their reign of terror across both halves of the divided Imperium. The Indomitus Crusade, launched by the resurrected Primarch Robut Guilliman, marked a turning point in the Imperium's struggle against these corrupted war engines. Armed with new technologies and led by the strategic genius of a demigod, Imperial forces began to push back against the tide of chaos. The Battle of Raukos saw a lance of Chaos Knights, led by the infamous despoiler titan Soul Render, face off against a coalition of loyalist knights and newly minted Primaris Space Marines. The clash of titans amidst the planet's sprawling hive cities resulted in unprecedented destruction, but ultimately ended in a crucial victory for the Imperium. However, the Chaos Knights' influence extended far beyond the battlefield. The psychological impact of their betrayal sent shockwaves through the Imperium's power structures. Paranoia gripped many Knight households, with accusations of heresy and corruption becoming commonplace. The Inquisition's efforts to root out potential traitors often did more harm than good, sowing discord and mistrust among once stalwart allies. In the Nachmund Gauntlet, a vital warp corridor connecting the two halves of the Imperium, Chaos Knights played a pivotal role in disrupting supply lines and isolating Imperial worlds. The fortress world of Sanguaterra became a focal point of conflict, its formidable defenses put to the ultimate test as waves of chaos. Knights laid siege to its adamantium walls. The world's fate hung in the balance for solar months, with the outcome poised to determine control of this strategic region. The War of Beasts on Vigilus saw Chaos Knights deployed in unprecedented numbers, their presence forcing a complete overhaul of Imperial defensive strategies. Traditional anti-Titan tactics proved woefully inadequate against these warp-empowered monstrosities. The development of new weaponry, such as the Ordnatus Ulator siege mortar, arose directly from the need to counter these threats. These technological advancements would go on to reshape warfare across the Imperium. In the Sharadon sector, the emergence of the Metallica Enigma, a mysterious plague that corrupted machine spirits, led to a mass defection of knights to the forces of chaos. This event highlighted the ongoing vulnerability of even the most loyal servants to the insidious touch of the warp. The Adeptus Mechanicus, shaken by this betrayal, implemented sweeping reforms in their knight production and maintenance protocols. The Plague Wars in Ultramar brought a new dimension to the Chaos Knight threat. Nurgle-aligned war machines, their corrupt forms dripping with virulent ichors, proved incredibly resilient to conventional weapons. Their ability to spread contagion across vast swaths of battlefield made them particularly feared, even among other Chaos forces. The development of new bio-purging technologies by Belisarius Cawl was a direct response to this emerging threat. As the 42nd Millennium dawned, the galaxy witnessed an unprecedented gathering of Chaos Knights in the Nachmund Gauntlet. This unholy conclave, known as the Proclamation of Hate, saw representatives from various infernal houses converge to forge dark pacts and plan future conquests. The psychic echoes of their blasphemous oaths rippled through the warp, causing disturbances felt as far away as Holy Terra itself. The Pariah Nexus, a region of space where the Necron's anti-warp technology suppressed psychic phenomena, presented an unexpected challenge to Chaos Knights. Cut off from their demonic benefactors, many found their powers greatly diminished. This vulnerability was exploited by Imperial forces in the Battle of Silent Tomb, leading to a rare decisive victory against these usually invincible foes. The insights gained from this encounter spurred new research into anti-warp weaponry across the Imperium. In the aftermath of these galaxy-shaking events, the role of Chaos Knights in the ongoing narrative of the 41st Millennium became more prominent than ever. Their actions continued to shape the course of battles and the fates of entire worlds. The constant threat they posed served as a grim reminder of the ever-present danger of corruption and the high cost of maintaining the Emperor's realm. The Imperium's response to this escalating threat was multifaceted. The Adeptus Mechanicus intensified its efforts to understand and counteract the corrupting influence of chaos on machine spirits. New rites of purification were developed, and more stringent screening processes were implemented for night pilots. These measures, while somewhat effective, also slowed the production and deployment of new knights at a time when they were desperately needed. On the battlefield, tactics evolved to counter the unique challenges posed by Chaos Knights. The development of specialized anti-knight units became a priority for many Imperial commanders. The Adeptus Astartes, in particular, refined their drop-pod assault strategies to target the vulnerable points of these massive war machines. Inquisitorial strike teams armed with esoteric weaponry were often deployed to neutralize particularly troublesome Chaos Knights before they could turn the tide of larger conflicts. The Ecclesiarchy seized upon the tragic fall of the Chaos Knights as a powerful cautionary tale. Preachers across the Imperium spoke of the dangers of pride and the importance of unwavering faith in the Emperor. This led to a surge in religious fervor, with some worlds embracing ever more extreme forms of devotion in hopes of staving off corruption. While this strengthened Imperial resolve in many sectors, it also led to increased instability and paranoia in others. As the dust settled on this tumultuous period, the galaxy found itself forever changed. The threat posed by Chaos Knights had evolved from a shadowy menace to a stark reality that could no longer be ignored. Their actions had reshaped Imperial military doctrine, technological development, and even spiritual practices. The once clear lines between loyal and traitor became increasingly blurred, with the potential for corruption lurking in every noble house and forge world. The rise of Chaos Knights sent shockwaves through the Imperium, reshaping strategies and alliances across the galaxy. Their betrayal weakened humanity's defenses, creating vulnerabilities that its enemies were quick to exploit. Entire sectors, once secure in their night protectors, found themselves scrambling for new shields against the encroaching darkness. Planetary governors, faced with the threat of corrupted war machines, turned to more extreme measures to ensure their world's safety. This shift led to increased Adeptus Mechanicus involvement in frontier planets, as tech priests sought to fill the void left by fallen night houses. Consequently, the Mechanicus expanded its influence, often at the expense of local autonomy. The Adeptus Astartes, particularly those chapters with close ties to night worlds, felt the sting of betrayal keenly. Some, like the Dark Angels, redoubled their efforts to hunt down traitors, seeing echoes of their own past in the Night's fall. Others, such as the Space Wolves, forged stronger bonds with loyal night houses, creating formidable combined arms forces that would prove crucial in future conflicts. Inquisitors of the Ordo Hereticus found their workload increasing exponentially. The fall of Chaos Knights highlighted the potential for corruption among the Imperium's elite, sparking witch hunts and purges across noble houses. This atmosphere of paranoia and suspicion further strained an already beleaguered Imperium, sometimes causing as much damage as the traitors themselves. The ecclesiarchy seized upon the tragedy of Chaos Knights as a cautionary tale. Preachers across the galaxy spoke of the dangers of pride and the importance of unwavering faith in the Emperor. This led to a surge in religious fervor, with some worlds embracing ever more extreme forms of devotion in hopes of staving off corruption. Forge worlds, crucial to the production and maintenance of knight suits, implemented stringent new security measures. The Adeptus Mechanicus, paranoid about chaos infiltration, began subjecting knight pilots to invasive screening procedures. This often strained relationships between the Mechanicus and the proud knight houses, leading to decreased efficiency in knight production at a time when they were needed most. Xenos races, particularly the Aldari, viewed the rise of Chaos Knights with grim vindication. To them, it was further proof of humanity's inherent weakness and susceptibility to chaos. Some craft worlds adjusted their long-term plans, seeing opportunities in the fracturing of human power structures. The Tyranid hive fleets, ever adaptive, developed new bioforms specifically to counter these massive war engines. This evolutionary arms race pushed the boundaries of both Tyranid adaptation and chaos corruption, resulting in ever more horrific creations on both sides. Genestealer cults, seeing the potential in corrupted knights, began targeting these noble houses for infiltration, adding another layer of paranoia to an already tense situation. Necron dynasties, awakening to a galaxy much changed, found themselves facing foes that could match their monoliths in scale. This prompted some Pharans to accelerate their plans for conquest, fearing the spread of chaos might irreparably damage the galaxy they sought to rule. The development of new anti-knight weaponry became a priority for many Necron cryptechs, leading to advancements that would prove devastating in future conflicts. The Tau Empire, with its limited understanding of chaos, initially struggled against Chaos Knights. However, their rapid technological advancement and adaptability led to the development of new battlesuits and weapons specifically designed to counter these threats. The experience gained in these encounters accelerated the Tau's comprehension of the warp, though this knowledge came at a great cost. Orc war bosses, always eager for a good fight, saw Chaos Knights as the ultimate challenge. Many Waaghs were launched specifically to target worlds defended by these corrupted war machines. Orc mechs became obsessed with salvaging knight parts, incorporating them into their own twisted creations. The sight of an orc-piloted Chaos Knight, its corrupted systems further enhanced by ramshackle orky upgrades, became a nightmare that haunted Imperial commanders. The Dark Mechanicus, ever opportunistic, saw in Chaos Knights a chance to further their own agendas. They began actively seeking out and corrupting knight houses, offering forbidden knowledge and demonic enhancements. This led to a shadow war between loyal tech priests and their fallen brethren, with knight worlds often caught in the crossfire. Rogue traders, operating on the fringes of Imperial space, found new opportunities and dangers in the wake of the Chaos Knight betrayal. Some made fortunes smuggling uncorrupted knight parts to desperate worlds, while others fell prey to the very forces they sought to profit from. The stories of these daring merchants added new chapters to the legend of Chaos Knights, spreading fear and fascination in equal measure. The Grey Knights, the Imperium's secret weapon against demonic incursions, found themselves increasingly deployed against particularly powerful or influential Chaos Knights. Their psychic abilities and specialized war gear made them uniquely suited to combating these warp-tainted threats, though the cost in lives and resources was often staggering. The knowledge gained in these encounters led to the development of new anti-demonic wards and weapons, some of which would find their way into wider Imperial use. Within the ranks of Chaos itself, the rise of Chaos Knights shifted the balance of power. Warband leaders sought to curry favor with these towering allies, offering sacrifices and conquest in exchange for their support. This often led to internal conflicts among Chaos forces, as different factions vied for the allegiance of powerful knight houses. The Officio Assassinorum, recognizing the strategic threat posed by Chaos Knights, developed new protocols for targeting their pilots. This led to a deadly game of cat and mouse, with knights becoming ever more paranoid and assassins devising increasingly ingenious methods of infiltration. The success or failure of these missions often had far-reaching consequences, sometimes altering the course of entire campaigns. Civilian populations across the Imperium felt the impact of Chaos Knights' betrayal most keenly. Worlds that once lived under the protection of noble houses now found themselves subject to the whims of tyrannical chaos-worshipping overlords. Resistance movements sprang up, their members often seeking aid from loyalist knights or nearby Imperial forces. The stories of these brave rebels became legend, inspiring hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. The Adeptus Arbites, tasked with maintaining order across the Imperium, found themselves dealing with an uptick in cult activity related to Chaos Knights. The allure of such power proved tempting to many disaffected citizens, leading to a wave of heretical uprisings. This stretched Imperial law enforcement thin, often requiring more extreme measures to maintain control. Even the Chaos Gods themselves were affected by the emergence of Chaos Knights. These powerful war machines became coveted prizes, with the ruinous powers often pitting their champions against each other in bids to claim the Knights' allegiance. This internal conflict sometimes worked to the Imperium's advantage, as Chaos forces turned on each other in their quest for dominance. Towering above the battlefield, Chaos Knights embody the core themes of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, their very existence a testament to the setting's grimdark philosophy. These fallen nobles, once paragons of virtue and duty, now serve as living metaphors for corruption, betrayal, and the inexorable pull of chaos. At the heart of the Chaos Knight narrative lies the theme of fallen nobility. These once proud warriors, sworn to protect humanity, have become its greatest threat. Their descent into madness and heresy serves as a stark reminder that no one, no matter how noble or powerful, is beyond the reach of corruption. This fall from grace resonates deeply with the Warhammer 40,000 setting's overarching theme of a crumbling Imperium, where even humanity's greatest heroes can become its worst enemies. The visual design of Chaos Knights is rich in symbolism. Their twisted forms, melding flesh with machine, represent the corrupting influence of the warp on both spirit and matter. Demonic faces leering from armor plates and warp fire blazing from exhausts serve as visceral reminders of the Knights' unholy pacts. Each visual element tells a story of corruption and transformation, turning the once pristine war machines into grotesque mockeries of their former selves. Chaos Knights also embody the theme of technology corrupted. In a universe where technological stagnation is the norm and innovation is viewed with suspicion, these tainted war engines represent the dangers of losing control over humanity's creations. The perversion of the Knight's machine spirit mirrors the larger theme of humanity's uneasy relationship with technology in the 41st millennium. The concept of inherited sin plays a significant role in Chaos Knight lore. The Throne Mechanicum, which passes the memories and skills of previous pilots to their successors, becomes a conduit for corruption. This hereditary taint speaks to the Warhammer 40,000 theme of ancestral burdens and the weight of history. It raises questions about free will and determinism, as each new pilot must grapple with the sins of their forebears. Duality is another key theme explored through Chaos Knights. They are simultaneously symbols of strength and vulnerability, power and enslavement. Their immense physical might is offset by their spiritual weakness, having succumbed to the temptations of chaos. This internal conflict reflects the larger struggles within the Warhammer 40,000 universe, where power often comes at the cost of one's humanity. The relationship between Chaos Knights and their demonic patrons touches on themes of Faustian bargains and the price of power. Each pact with a Chaos God brings tremendous abilities, but demands an ever-increasing toll. This cycle of empowerment and enslavement serves as a microcosm of the larger relationship between Chaos and its mortal servants. Chaos Knights also represent the theme of perversion of purpose. Weapons designed to defend humanity now lay waste to the very worlds they were meant to protect. This twisted fate echoes the larger narrative of the Horus Heresy, where the Imperium's greatest defenders became its most dangerous foes. It speaks to the grim irony that permeates the Warhammer 40,000 setting. The internal hierarchies of Chaos Knight houses serve as dark reflections of Imperial feudal structures. This mirrors the theme of dark parallels that runs throughout Warhammer 40,000, where the enemies of the Imperium often serve as warped reflections of its own institutions. The political maneuvering and power struggles within these corrupted houses highlight the idea that even in service to chaos, human nature remains unchanged. Chaos Knights embody the theme of tragic monsters. Despite their horrific acts, glimpses of their former nobility occasionally shine through, adding layers of complexity to their characters. This nuanced portrayal challenges the notion of absolute evil, suggesting that even the most corrupted beings may retain shreds of their former selves. The psychological horror of Chaos Knights is a key element of their thematic significance. The idea of being trapped within a corrupted war engine, one's mind slowly eroded by whispers of the warp, taps into primal fears of loss of control and identity. This psychological aspect adds depth to the physical threat they pose on the battlefield. Symbolically, Chaos Knights represent the consequences of unchecked ambition and pride. Their fall serves as a cautionary tale within the Imperium, used to reinforce the importance of humility and unquestioning loyalty. This narrative plays into the Imperium's paranoia and helps justify its oppressive policies as the threat of corruption is ever present. The theme of sacrifice perverted is evident in the Chaos Knights' relationship with their homeworlds. Once protectors of their people, they now demand sacrifices and worship, twisting the feudal obligations of their former lives into something monstrous. This perversion of the social contract speaks to larger themes of power abuse and the corruption of institutions. The Chaos Knights also touch on themes of addiction and escalation. The rush of power that comes with each act of violence or worship creates a cycle of dependency, driving the Knights to ever greater acts of destruction. This downward spiral mirrors the larger narrative of chaos corruption, where each step towards damnation makes it harder to turn back. The concept of tainted bloodlines, central to Chaos Knight lore, speaks to themes of genetic legacy and predestination. It raises questions about nature versus nurture, and whether one can escape the sins of their ancestors. This genetic component of corruption adds a biological horror element to the already potent psychological terror they represent. Finally, Chaos Knights embody the theme of the enemy within. Their existence is a constant reminder that the Imperium's greatest threats may come from its own ranks. This internal danger reinforces the paranoia and suspicion that characterize the Warhammer 40,000 setting, where heresy can lurk behind even the most loyal facade. In essence, Chaos Knights serve as powerful symbols of the grimdark future of Warhammer 40,000. They encapsulate themes of corruption, betrayal, the perversion of noble ideals, and the constant struggle against the insidious influence of chaos. Their tragic fall and terrifying presence on the battlefield make them not just formidable enemies, but also potent embodiments of the setting's core themes and philosophies. Chaos Knights stand as a testament to the grimdark essence of Warhammer 40,000, embodying the tragic fall from grace that echoes throughout the universe. Their presence on the tabletop and in the lore adds a layer of complexity and horror that elevates the entire setting. As a fan and storyteller, I find their narrative particularly compelling for several reasons. Firstly, the concept of corrupted nobility resonates deeply with classic themes of tragedy. These once proud defenders of humanity, twisted into monstrous parodies of their former selves, evoke a sense of loss and horror that goes beyond mere physical threat. Their fall serves as a poignant reminder of the constant danger of corruption in the 41st millennium, where even the mightiest can be laid low by the insidious whispers of chaos. The visual design of Chaos Knights is nothing short of spectacular. The fusion of Gothic architecture, biomechanical horror, and eldritch symbolism creates war machines that are as awe-inspiring as they are terrifying. Each detail tells a story, from the screaming faces embedded in armor plates to the warp fire blazing from exhausts. This attention to aesthetic horror not only makes them striking models on the tabletop, but also serves to reinforce the themes of corruption and fallen nobility. From a gameplay perspective, Chaos Knights introduce an interesting dynamic to battles. Their immense power and unpredictable nature force players to adapt their strategies, leading to more dynamic and exciting games. The challenge of facing these behemoths, or the thrill of commanding them, adds a new dimension to the Warhammer 40,000 experience. The internal struggle of Chaos Knights, trapped between their former noble ideals and their new corrupted nature, provides rich ground for storytelling. This conflict allows for nuanced characters that go beyond simple villainy, adding depth to the narrative. The possibility of redemption, however slim, creates tension and drama that can drive compelling stories. One aspect of Chaos Knight lore that I find particularly intriguing is the corruption of the throne mechanicum. The idea that the very technology meant to preserve a noble lineage becomes the conduit for its downfall is a brilliant twist. It speaks to larger themes in the setting about the dangers of relying on poorly understood ancient technology and the price of power. The variety among Chaos Knights, each aligned to different Chaos gods or operating as renegades, allows for diverse and interesting army compositions. This variety not only keeps the faction fresh from a gaming perspective, but also opens up numerous narrative possibilities. The interactions and conflicts between different Chaos Knight households add another layer of intrigue to their stories. However, it's worth noting that the overwhelming power of Chaos Knights, both in lore and on the tabletop, can sometimes feel unbalancing. Their ability to dominate battlefields and shrug off massive amounts of damage, while thematically appropriate, can lead to frustrating gameplay experiences if not carefully balanced. The psychological horror aspect of Chaos Knights is, in my opinion, one of their strongest narrative elements. The idea of being trapped within a corrupted war machine, slowly driven mad by whispers from the warp, taps into primal fears of loss of control and identity. This psychological dimension adds depth to what could otherwise be simply another powerful enemy. From a world-building perspective, Chaos Knights serve as an excellent plot device. Their presence can escalate conflicts, provide formidable antagonists, or serve as catalysts for larger events. The fall of a night house to chaos can be the centerpiece of an entire campaign, showcasing the insidious nature of corruption in the 41st millennium. The ethical questions raised by the existence of Chaos Knights add philosophical depth to the setting. Are these fallen nobles victims of forces beyond their control, or did they willingly embrace damnation? This moral ambiguity challenges the often black and white portrayal of good and evil in wargaming narratives, encouraging players and readers to grapple with complex ethical dilemmas. One criticism that could be leveled at the Chaos Knight concept is that it follows a familiar pattern in Warhammer 40,000 of creating evil counterparts to existing factions. However, I would argue that the depth of lore and unique aesthetics of Chaos Knights elevate them beyond mere dark mirrors of their loyal counterparts. The impact of Chaos Knights on the wider narrative of Warhammer 40,000 cannot be overstated. Their existence serves as a constant reminder of the fragility of loyalty and the ever-present threat of chaos. This reinforces the paranoia and grim atmosphere that are hallmarks of the setting, contributing to its unique flavor. From a collector's standpoint, Chaos Knight models offer exciting opportunities for conversion and customization. The blend of mechanical and organic elements allows hobbyists to let their imaginations run wild, creating truly unique and nightmarish war machines. In conclusion, Chaos Knights represent some of the best elements of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. They embody the tragic, horrific, and larger-than-life aspects that make the setting so compelling. Their complex lore, striking aesthetics, and gameplay impact combine to create a faction that is as fascinating as it is formidable. As the narrative of Warhammer 40,000 continues to evolve, Chaos Knights are poised to play a significant role in shaping the grim darkness of the far future. Whether as unstoppable juggernauts on the battlefield or as tragic figures in the lore, they will undoubtedly continue to capture the imaginations of fans and strike fear into the hearts of their enemies. Their story serves as a microcosm of the larger Warhammer 40,000 narrative, a tale of nobility corrupted, of power at a terrible price, and of the ever-present threat of chaos that looms over humanity. In the end, Chaos Knights remind us that in the grim darkness of the far future, there is more than just war. There is tragedy, horror, and the constant struggle against the darkness that lurks within us all.